and replaced by what I was seeing in Wall Street now. So, in order to create an obsession, of expectations, the brokerage firms training programs of renewing your mind by requiring you to read material, required reading material on Wall Street in order to create a desire for millions. So you see the millions, you want to make the millions, but you don't know how to do it. So they helped you by putting you in the mindset, because in order to get a desk on Wall Street, you've got to make a minimum of $1 million, a minimum, not a maximum, minimum. In other words, if you don't make that $1 million, you're fired. You're fired. Get out of here, you bum. You're a bum. Okay. So in order to create that desire, they had to build up your mindset that this is A, possible, this is B, routine, and C, you can do it. Okay. So they had to build you up, and the training program on Wall Street that's what it was. That's what it's about. Okay. So broker trainees had to internalize books like The Art of War by Sun Tzu, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, The Magic of Thinking, Thinking Big, Dr. Neil Schwartz, successful telephone sales in the 90s, in the 80s, and then the 90s, Marty Shafaroff, big broker on Wall Street, and many, many others. Okay, so brokers had to make a minimum of $1 million just to keep your spot. That's just to keep your spot, because if you didn't pull $1 million in, you were a bum. Matter of fact, you were dead to me. If you ever watched the movie on Wall Street, those guys are under pressure, and that's what it's all about. But it's a good pressure. It's a good pressure. Making $1 million a year is a good pressure. It sure beats being stiffed for 30 grand and 40 grand. So it's a different mindset, and you had to renew your mind in order to get out of what the world said was okay, and now get into what Wall Street said was okay. And if you're making just keeping your job at $1 million, you're just keeping your job. So you had to go above that. You had to make more than that. So you had to create this obsessive thought in your head that you can do it. So starting out, whenever doubt came and, you didn't find early success, not everybody has success coming right out the gate. I had to pray to God for the strength to keep going. I had to pray to God for the strength to keep going, because of what I saw in my head. I had created an obsession, and I knew I was in the right place to achieve my desires. So I had to pray to God to stay on track. I had to pray to God to not let the doubts, the doubt, because it's a spirit that's in you. Doubt is a spirit that lives in you that says, you ain't going to do it. It ain't going to work. Stop it. You need to go get a job. Get out of here. This is not for you. Who you think you're fooling? And you are in your head being obsessive. Yes, I can. I'm going to make this million. I deserve to be here. I'm going to make this money. I'm going to make more than millions. And it's a fight. It's a constant fight in your head, because the spirit of doubt is in you, throwing cold water on everything you think. So whenever that spirit came out, I had to pray to God for the strength to keep going, because I created the obsession. I believed it. I knew I had to have it. I knew I was in the right place. I just had to, A, put that doubt out of my head, B, produce results. Okay. So seeing all the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the SL 600s, the 600s, the 500s parked daily provided motivation. Now, if you've seen any of the movies on Wall Street, most of those guys actually worked with me. When you're looking at the movies of Wall Street and the excesses of Wall Street and all the guys doing all the crazy stuff, yeah, that stuff really happens. Okay, so when you look in the parking lot and you see the Testarossas and the Spiders, the Mondials and the Countachs, the Diablos, red, black, yellow, butterscotch, blue, butterscotch interiors, the SL 600s, the 500s, the convertibles, black, white, red, special editions, just like the scene from Miami Vice or any of those Wall Street movies that most of you guys watched. Only the only difference was between the movies, 7 o'clock in the morning. you would see a row of cars coming down Wall Street from Broadway, from Trinity Church, 7 o'clock in the morning, blazing rap music. Some 25-year-old kid, millionaire broker, is driving down Wall Street, going to go park the car, getting ready to start the day. Actually, not 7 o'clock. This is at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Coming down Wall Street, the parade of Ferraris, the parade of European cars coming down Wall Street, and some 23-year-old kid hops out the car, the convertible, and parks the car and gets ready to start his day for the 7 o'clock morning meeting. Now, all the wingtip, Aldens, custom-made shirts, custom-made suits, Cartier watches, Rolex Presidentials, they're very inspiring. So as a trainee, this is what I saw every day. This is what I saw every day, all day long. So you got to be able to visualize the opulence, the gold money clips, $1 million transactions, multi-million dollar share positions, multi-million dollar paychecks, $1,000 lunches at Harry's or Delmonico's, penthouse apartments overlooking the Hudson or the East River, the promenade terraces in Brooklyn Heights, Dumbo condos, parties on your 1,000 square foot Riverview Terrace, heliports. I'm living at the Rivergate. I'm right by the heliport on 34th Street. Heliports, helicopters coming in and out all day. Jet setting to Atlantic City casinos for a Thursday night, getting back to work by Friday. On a helicopter or a jet plane. Manhattan lifestyle, Hampton weekends, famous clients, mogul clients, all listening to you. Some 23, 24-year-old kid, and I got millions, people sending me millions from all over the place. That's what you've got to visualize. And that's what I had in my head, but I didn't have to visualize. I had to visualize, but I saw this being played out for me before I became a broker. When I was a trainee, I saw all of these things. So it was easy to imagine, because all you had to do is, instead of, seeing some kid, 25-year-old, which for me at the time I was 20, driving a yellow Spider or a Testarossa that you saw in Miami Vice. Wow, what a visual. I became obsessed with having what I achieved, what I saw in my head, and the dominant thoughts in my mind that I created. So you have to see it mentally. You have to see what doesn't exist yet. It doesn't exist for you, but it exists for someone else. So you have to capture that thought and make it yours. You've got to create it, and you've got to call those things which be not as though they were, which is Romans 4:17. You've got to call what doesn't yet exist, and you've got to call it to be today. Now, even though I tell you all of these things, is these visuals, many young brokers, from when I started, they quit because of financial pressure to perform, to get a regular job. So if you weren't, a lot of those guys weren't able to produce. They didn't cut the mustard to make the millions. And a lot of guys quit to go get a regular job, and dismissing the visuals that they were exposed to daily to go get a regular job making 30 and 40 and 50 grand a year. And they fell out of love with what they saw, because you didn't have to visualize it. This is, playing out in front of you, all the cars and all the watches and the clothes and, the millions, and, we're all kids. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all 23, 24, 25-year-old kids making millions. But some people didn't believe enough, and so they ended up going to get a job. So the opulence of Wall Street was on full display, but they didn't have the desire. They didn't have the obsessive desire to believe that they could achieve the millions that they desired and they saw being made on a daily basis right in front of their eyes. So you can have it if you would only use the law of expectation for your good and stop using it for your bad. Phobia, when you make the law of expectation work for a phobia, that's bad, but you can use it for good if you do the repetition and these exercises that I laid out in the upcoming book. If I didn't say it before, there's an upcoming book, The Law of Expectation. So we're all using facets of the law. Most of us unknowingly are using it to bring bad things in your life. Start using the law to create the thing you desire or the things that you desire, and not use it to bring your fears to life. Use it to bring your desires to life, not your phobias to life. LW, signing off.